Hello and welcome to the 9 p.m. news on Voice of the People TV. I am Jerry Abirai.
And I am Vivian Oguche.
Before beginning news, kindly visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trendy news. And now to the headlines. Governors propose a new VAT sharing formula orders.
The National Assembly to deny allocation to agencies over defense.
Wike revokes of 568 allocated land certificates.
Man arraigned for threatening Ekiti Catholic bishop.
Outrage over invasion of PDP secretariat of 4 beaten, wounded.
And in business news, federal government to raise 1.8 trillion naira from Borno market in first quarter of 2025.
And sports, Eboy returns to training after lengthy injury layoff.
Well, in entertainment news now, court orders arrest of Mercy Chinwo's former manager.
Now the news in detail. Nigerian governors have given a conditional backing to President Bola Tinubu's tax reforms with a new sharing formula for value-added tax topping their proposals as conditions to back the controversial bills. Under the aegis of the Nigerian Governors Forum, the 36 governors held a sub-national consultations and engagement in Abuja with the chairman of Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, Taiwo Oyedele. Among the resolutions is a revised sharing formula of 50% based on equality, 30% based on derivation, and 20% based on population. The conditions, according to a communique by the NGF chairman and governor of Kwara State, Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak, are to ensure equitable distribution of resources. They resolved that in order to maintain economic stability, there should be no increase in the VAT rate or reduction in corporate income tax yet. They also demanded the continuation of VAT exemption on essential goods and agricultural produce to safeguard citizens' welfare and promote agricultural productivity. The forum reiterated its strong support for the comprehensive reform of Nigeria's archaic tax laws and acknowledged the need to modernize the tax system to enhance fiscal stability and align with global best practices.
And now Nigeria's inflation rate rose to 34.80% in December 2024, up from 34.60% in November, according to the latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS. Many Nigerians are in turn grappling with the impact of these rising prices, particularly during the festive season when demand for goods and services spiked. VOP's TV Marcy Ogunswada reports on how this inflation surge is affecting everybody's life day to day and what experts say could be done to ease the pressure on consumers.
A slight decrease, falling to 39.83% from 39.93% in November. Mudar Yusuf, the CEO for the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, expressed concern over these persistent inflationary pressures. While the increase in December was modest, he remains optimistic for 2025, hoping for
but for this amount of fuel now, it doesn't help any matter. But for this amount of fuel now, it doesn't help any matter.
Like 3 years now, 4 times in a day or 5 times. But now 2 times I chop morning and night. Afternoon no day there. So if they can change our government, it's more better.
Even if you want to buy foodstuff now, if you buy 5,000 something, you finish it one day. So we are begging government.
In time of inflation, the problem is from the federal government. All I want, when they've removed the subsidy, they should give us security. Because the farmer there, they are complaining that there's no security. How can you go to farm with 30 workers and about 500 people will come with gun to disturb you or to kidnap or to do anything? So you know we have the confidence to go to the farm anymore.
The way things is rising up now, and I must say it affected everybody, even including thieves and the armed robbers. Because the armed robbers and the thieves, the way they have been getting goods and see before is no longer like that again. Everybody is trying to manage up. Every one of us will know the causes of this inflation. Fuel, this subsidy, immediately they pronounce that statement that subsidy is gone. And we will be buying petrol in a costly price. For example, if I buy petrol of 1,200, it will be enough for me for a day. But now I'm buying almost 5,000, 5,500. That's why if I don't go far, if I go far, I will buy like 6,000, 6,500 every day. That is why. And the way I be carrying passenger, if I continue carrying when I was buying 1,200, if I say continue carrying that way this time, I will have nothing to go home with. And likewise, it affects everybody. And like me, Ali, look at the food that you are buying. Like a bottle of Coke before, maybe something like 200 naira. But now it's 400 naira. That is why everybody, at times they will say, when they mention the granules, they say, why are they doing granules very well? They say, dollar affect the granules. Ali, the granule seller, when you buy a costly price, whatever that you are producing or you are selling, you too, you must put money on it that we're able to live comfortably.
As we have heard from citizens, there are diverse opinions on how to tackle the inflation crisis ravaging the country. However, many Nigerians want the government to look into the current economic hardship plaguing the country, as well as stabilize local currency. Matthew Ogunswada, reporting for Voice of the People TV.
All right, Nigerians, they're reacting to the proposed tax reforms and, of course, inflation, I beg your pardon, as it affects every Nigerian. Of course, you could see the man even talking about it affecting armed robbers. All right, over to more news where the National Assembly Joint Committee on Agriculture it will deny allocations to agencies under the supervision of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, whose heads failed to account for their 2024 budget performance and projections in the new year. The committee issued a warning on Thursday in Abuja during the defense of the 2025 budget, estimates by ministries, departments, and agencies. It warned that agencies not represented by their respective chief accounting officers would not be allowed to make presentations. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Agricultural Production and Services, Salih Mustafa, beg your pardon, and his
In a similar development, the House of Representatives Committee on Environment has decried what it called the failure of relevant government authorities to fund the Environmental Health Council of Nigeria to curtail disease, who appeared before the National Assembly to defend its 20 funding. The committee expressed displeasure that the agency was being deprived the necessary funding, contrary to the provisions of the law. Pandi also condemned the hardship experienced by the agency's staff members, who he said received 0 salaries in 2014.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Nyesom Wike, has revoked the allocation of 568 plots of Land Use Act 1978, which allows the withdrawal of land allocations when the terms of the grant are not met. In a notice by the FCT administration, Wike said the allottees failed to pay the required fees at the expiration of the grace period. He added that only those who did not make full payment by January 15, 2025 were affected. According to the notice, the allottees and non-payment of the applicable fees after the grace period contravened the terms of the grant, which obligated the title or interest holders to settle all bills. It added that allottees and the title holders who have completed their payments on or before January 15 are not affected by the withdrawal of allocation.
In the meantime, the federal government has told the Emir of Kano, His Highness Muhammadu Sanusi II, that his approval is not required for its policies to be laudable. Thus urged the Emir, who was a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, to rise above personal interests and partisan undertones and prioritize the greater good of Nigerians. In a statement containing this position on Thursday, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, reaffirmed government's commitment to reforms aimed at stabilizing the economy. He emphasized that government does not need external validation to continue with its policies. Sanusi, while speaking on Wednesday as chairman of the 21st anniversary of Gani Faweyemi Annual Lecture 2025 in Lagos, had said that President Bola Tinubu's administration was getting certain things wrong and would not want to help to correct the policies affecting the citizens.
The Ekiti State Police Commander today arraigned one Victor Akonde, 24, before a Chief Magistrate Court in Ado-Ekiti District for allegedly threatening the life of the Catholic Bishop of Ekiti Diocese, Most Reverend Felix Ajakare. According to the charge, the defendant committed the offense on Wednesday, January 15, 2025, at the Bishop's Court around 8:30 in the evening. When the charges were read to him, Akonde pleaded not guilty. Meanwhile, the police prosecutor, Bamikole Olasukomi, told the court of his intention to call 3 witnesses to prosecute the case. He then asked for a date to arrange his witnesses. On the spot, defendant's counsel, Okpeyemi Eson, informed the court that information at his disposal from the bishop, who was represented by a priest, indicated that he had pardoned the defendant but recommended him to undergo rehabilitation processes. In his ruling, Magistrate Adefunke Anoma said there was nothing before the court to support the defendant's counsel's claim to warrant the charge being struck out. Consequently, he admitted the defendant to bail in the sum of 10,000 naira and one surety in like sum, and adjourned the case till January 28 for a report of settlement or hearing.
In another development now, the federal government has debunked the rumor that the third mainland bridge is shaking, describing it as baseless and driven by ulterior motives. Some messages on social media platforms such as X had claimed that a part of the bridge had opened up.
All right, good to have you back with us. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries says the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and its effort to ramp up the production of premium motor spirits are impacting Europe's petrol market. Since the 650,000 barrel capacity refinery began production in September 2024, the refinery has exported petrol, diesel, and aviation fuel to other countries within and outside Africa. A report by OPEC on Wednesday stated that the emergence of Dangote refinery has reduced Nigeria's imports of petroleum products from Europe. According to the report, the ongoing operational ramp-up efforts at Nigeria's new Dangote refinery and its gasoline exports to the international market will likely weigh further on the European gasoline market. OPEC noted that continued gasoline production in Nigeria, a country that has relied heavily on imports to meet its domestic fuel needs in the past, will most likely continue to free up gasoline volumes in international markets. It added that this will call for new destinations and flow adjustments for the extra volumes going forward. Meanwhile, it stated that the gasoline inventory builds are expected to extend into the coming months amid a lengthening gasoline balance in the Atlantic Basin due to winter season demand side pressures.
Well, let's take you to Ondo State now, where the police have announced restriction of vehicular and motorcycle movement from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday for the local government election. In a statement by the command spokesperson Fumilayo Odunlami, the Commissioner of Police, Wilfred Afolabi, said the directive was for security reasons. Odunlami said commuters who may have a reason to use the state as passage are pre-informed of the restrictions to help adjust their plans ahead. However, he noted that security personnel, health workers, firefighters, and other essential service providers are allowed free movement to carry out their duties.
In Osun State, Governor Ademola Adeleke has imposed a fresh 12-hour curfew on the warring communities of Ilobu and Ifon following renewed communal clashes. In a statement today by the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Kolakbo Alimi, the state government announced that the curfew, effective immediately, will run from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. daily until further notice. This came after a group known as Ifon Progressive Union, the umbrella body of Ifon, Orolu indigenes, alleged that gunmen from Ilobu stormed the Apin Bororo area, shooting sporadically and causing panic among residents. Secretary of the union's Board of Trustees, Jide Akinyoye, said the latest attacks began early Tuesday, noting that gunshots were reported in the Odoje and Golden Gate areas of Ifon, leading to displacement as residents fled their homes in fear.
In the meantime, the federal government has inaugurated the Presidential Advisory Committee on the Prerogative of Mercies to strengthen Nigeria's justice system, rehabilitation efforts, and human rights protections. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, who inaugurated the 15-member committee, emphasized its constitutional significance, citing Section 175 of the 1999 Constitution, which grants the President the authority to grant pardons. VOP-TV's Matthew Ogunswada provides further insight in this report.
The government has officially inaugurated the Presidential Advisory Committee on the Prerogative of Mercy to enhance Nigeria's justice system, rehabilitation efforts, and human rights protections. Over the next 4 years, the committee will review and recommend pardons and clemency for prisoners and ex-convicts who meet the established criteria. The committee's work will support efforts to decongest correctional facilities and aid the reintegration of rehabilitated individuals into the society. Senator George Akume, who inaugurated the 15-member committee, highlighted its constitutional importance, referencing Section 175 of the 1999 Constitution, which grants the President the power to pardon individuals convicted of offenses. He added that the initiative aligns with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which focuses on institutional reforms and social reintegration. Additionally, the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, who will chair the committee, assured that it will fulfill its mandate and support the President in promoting justice and social harmony through the power of pardon. Voice of the People TV took to the streets of Lagos to gather public opinion on what improvement should be made to Nigeria's justice system.
The way handle this issue of justice is so bad. And what I really even say there that so-called the group CID, they are not really working the way they're supposed to be worked. Even I remember in the olden days, CID, when there is serious case and they'll be trying all the possible way to catch up with the criminals. I even know someone that at least he has mixed up himself as a laborer working under that very rich man. More than 6 months, he knew every loot and corner and where he's strong, where he's with his weak point and his strong point before he can fetch him or out. But this time around, when they even call somebody that commit one offense or the other, they don't really look down deep onto it. They might even, maybe after 2 or 3 days, they might say, the issue will be taken to court. Maybe from there, they might remand him. They might even put him to the prison. And he might even remain there for many years. Because that's why many innocent citizens are in the prison now without solid investigation.
I will want them to allow those people to work even to the local level, because the thing is getting out of hand. Some people, even they don't know their rights, they will just pick you up and they are claiming other offenses. Those are the police that some people, they don't even have school start to defend themselves. So they are holding other people for ransom, whereby they are not the terrorists. They are supposed to defend the people. Please, they should go to the local level, not at the international level of EFCC. They can't arrest people for EFCC because I don't even have anything in my pocket. But at the stage which I am, please, they should go to the lower level, even to the DPO and the DCO level, so that they can try to rebuild our area. We are not terrorists, we are not nuisance, but sometimes they train us to be wicked, because when they treat us bad, we will treat ourselves bad also.
Nigeria injustice are always in place, and it is quite unfortunate, but thank God if there is an inauguration of some committee that will look into matters for some people who are innocent that are in the prison suffering for years, for decades. Thank God for that committee. If the committee will be sincere enough to put justice for those who are being played injustice that are staying in the prison.
As we've heard from citizens, there are various improvements needed in Nigeria's justice system. With the 15-member committee being inaugurated, many Nigerians are hopeful for transformative change in the years to come. Matthew Ogunswada for Voice of the People TV.
All right, Nigerians there. reacting to the justice system and, of course, the attempt for prerogative mercy from the presidency. About two more stories where thugs allegedly affiliated to the All Progressive Congress invaded the Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party in Benin City on Airport Road, chased away PDP administrative staff, inflicted injuries on the workers, and they also brought down the PDP flags and replaced them with APC flags, according to reports. Following the attack, PDP chairman Dr. Tony Azigbemi was said to have locked himself inside his office for safety. He was later escorted out of the building by the Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly, Blessing Agwebako. However, the APC state chairman, Emperor Tenebe, said shortly after the takeover of the Secretariat that the property rightfully belonged to the APC, which had renewed its tenancy for a period of 7 years before PDP forcefully took it from them. According to Tenebe, Governor Godwin Obaseki had decamped to PDP and in a military way took over the Secretariat, destroying all APC belongings, and took the party's vehicles and drove the officials out. Meanwhile, the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of operations, Ben Abang, was at the venue for a first-hand briefing and interacted with APC chairman and other top party executives. Meanwhile, youths previously hired by the People's Democratic Party and the immediate past Governor Godwin Obaseki, Amadi, made the allegation on Thursday during the flagship breakfast show VOP this morning on Voice of the People television. According to him, the youths could have been employed into the state civil service for fruitful contributions to the development in the state rather than being used to perpetrate violence.
Before today was owed to the fact that Governor Obaseki created vigilante group, which he did not pay. They gave them guns. Most of them even used their own money to buy those guns, and those guns were not retrieved from them. There was never any fora where you saw that they were all called and guns were retrieved from them. And to surprise you, for over 5 years, Governor Obaseki brought out our young men who he used at interval when it pleases him for any mission, any actions, like intimidating opposition, whenever he chooses to grab lands in any of the communities, whenever he wants to humiliate the traditional institution, he brings them out, he gives them the regular uniform as called vigilante group, but however, he wasn't even paying them. They were on payroll. How can somebody be with you? There is no evidence to show that he's a staff or that he's a worker of a state government, but just by way of fiat, you said, yes, you have sent a certain bill to the House of Assembly to impute them. Even when you assume that they were casuals, you weren't paying them. So they have still been using them in all of those shenanigans.
All right, weighing in.
Well, weighing in on the allegation now, a PDP chieftain and former member of the Edo State House of Assembly, Destiny Enabulele, described the accusation as unfortunate and unfounded, stating rather that the shooting was carried out by the State Security Agency and Governor Monday Okpebolo.
A non-state actor will be brandishing gun in the presence of the Nigerian police or security agent, and they will not gun him down. If there is no connivance between the security services and the governor of the state, you know that the governor of the state is the chief. As he must have had one-on-one tete-a-tete with them on how not to. Still, traced to a very APC person in the state. And my friend that is talking, he's aware of all these things. Just that he's not been economical with the truth.
Well, let's move to Rivers State now, where in Port Harcourt, the state capital, on Thursday, police barricaded the road leading to the People's Democratic Party Secretariat on Aba Road. The move followed reports that the acting executive committee, formed after a court nullified the elected executive, planned to take over the Secretariat complex. A Rivers State High Court in Port Harcourt had on Monday nullified the ward, local government and state congresses conducted by the PDP in 2024. Though the planned takeover was suspended, both factions held separate press briefings to assert their authority, underscoring the deepening crisis within the party. Meanwhile, leader of the restrained executive, Aaron Chukwuemeka, has condemned the growing number of court cases involving the party and appealed to Governor Siminalayi Fubara to prioritize peace. Also, state legal advisor Kingsley Chukwu, a senior advocate of Nigeria, revealed that while the party was yet to receive the court ruling, it planned to appeal the decision once the records were available.
And up next is business, sports, and entertainment stories. And after the break, stay tuned. This funding effort is part of the government's strategy to address a fiscal deficit and fund critical infrastructure. For 2025, the federal government is projecting a budget deficit of 13.08 trillion naira, representing a 3.87% of the country's gross domestic product.
And for some sports news now, Super Eagles defender Tyrone Ogbehi has finally returned to training at Syria club Empoli after his lengthy injury layoff. Ogbehi copped a cruciate ligament injury in Empoli's league clash with Bolgana in March 2024. The right back missed the remainder of the 2023-2024 season as a result of the setback. The 29-year-old is now in line to make his maiden appearance this season after his return to full training.
Now to the English Premier League, where Mikel Arteta has disclosed that Arsenal are aiming to strengthen their forward lineup in the January transfer window after losing Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Jesus to injury. The Gunners beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-1 in Wednesday's London derby, but lacked a killer edge. The goals came from a set piece and a shot from Leandro Trossard, which Spurs goalkeeper Anthony Kinski would perhaps have expected to save. Wednesday's win against Spurs took Arsenal to 43 points, which means they are 4 points behind leaders Liverpool with a game in hand.
Well, entertainment news now. A federal high court in Lagos has issued a warrant for the arrest of Ezekiel Onyedikachuku, the former manager of gospel singer Mercy Chinwo, over an alleged $345,000 fraud. The presiding Justice Alexander Owoye granted the order on Thursday following an ex parte motion filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The EFCC representative, Bilikisu Buhari, had cited legal provisions under the Constitution and the Administration of Criminal Justice Act to support the application. Buhari argued that the arrest warrant was necessary to ensure Onyedikachuku's appearance in court to address the alleged criminal charges. In an affidavit supporting the application, the EFCC said it received a petition from Chinwo against the manager. In the affidavit, deposed by an EFCC investigator, Michael Idoko, the singer accused her manager of receiving royalties from her digital platforms and events without disclosing the transactions.
And before we go, a recap of the major headlines to wrap up the 9 p.m. news. We told you earlier that governors proposed new VAT sharing formula, amongst others.
Also, the National Assembly to deny allocation to agencies over defense.
The UK revokes of 568 allocated land certificates.
We also told you that a man has been arraigned for threatening a Catholic bishop.
Outrage in Edo over invasion of PDP secretariats as 4 gets beaten and some wounded.
In business, we brought you reports that the federal government is to raise 1.8 trillion naira from bond market in the first quarter of 2025.
In its sport, Eboye returns to training after lengthy injury layoff.
In entertainment news, the court has ordered arrest of Mercy Chinwo's former manager. But do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV. And on other social media platforms, we are VOP TV Live. Well, I am Vivian Oguche.
I am Jerry Apioy. Good evening.
Good evening.